Oklahoma. Final score yesterday over Iowa State is 50-20, and the Sooners now, let me speak a little bit softly, because they are quietly ranked. They are quietly, I think, one of the better teams in the country. And I tweeted it out actually at my Twitter page or my X page, whatever you want to call it, at JD Piquel. And I said, hey, Oklahoma, I just said that. They're quietly probably the most quiet ranked team in the country. And a lot of y'all that are Sooner fans said, JD, hey, pipe down. Pipe down. We don't want to hear any of that. You just keep on going. You don't pay any attention to us. We'll see you at Red River. Don't worry about it. So yesterday didn't help them in terms of keeping things quiet by beating Iowa State by 30 points. But there's a lot to take away, and we'll unpack it all right now. Make sure you're dialed in. Had a lot of you Sooner faithful join us here the last couple of weeks. We appreciate y'all being subscribed. Do me a favor, double check that you are subscribed if you haven't already. We'd love to have you part of the program. Also, follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at JD Piquel. We appreciate you so much for that. Okay, this was a really interesting spot for Oklahoma. Year two team, year two head coach, a lot of portal pieces. They're playing well. They're undefeated. You got Iowa State, who's always well coached, and you got Red River the next week. So you wonder if Oklahoma's not just peeking over the fence just a little bit and checking out what's going on over there at the State Fair. No worries, handle business. And I think that shows how mature this team is. I think that shows what this team has from a focus standpoint. I think this shows that this team, all they talked about with the offseason and having a different mentality and having a new focus and not being content, I don't know if this proves that, but I think it does stack another piece of evidence in the pile of, hey, different Oklahoma team than we've seen in years past. I mean, again, I get Iowa State's not a world beater. I get they're going to have to play better teams than Iowa State. They're going to play one next week in Texas. But even so, if you're an Oklahoma fan, you just continue to check boxes, go about your business, make sure nobody's looking at you too heavily, and you just keep on rolling. Now, the offense is a big reason why people are starting to take a little bit more notice of Oklahoma. And it looks like an offense with a quarterback and an offensive coordinator that have been together for some time, because that's what Dillon Gabriel and Jeff Lebby are. They score points. They score points in bunches. Dillon Gabriel put on a clinic yesterday, well over 300 yards. He ran for a touchdown. He was dropping bombs. Dude was dialed in. Absolutely dialed in. He is the catalyst to this offense, and they're extremely explosive in a number of ways. Like I said, 50 points a game, but the way in which they do it, I think, is fascinating. The run game is kind of what starts everything for them, and their run game numbers weren't crazy yesterday. They're right around 4 yards a carry, but enough to where you have to honor it, you have to deal with it, you have to be aware of it. Also, the quarterback run game. The fact that you can add in Dillon Gabriel at any point in time, and he can be a threat to take off and run, kind of causes your defenders in the second level and third level to keep an eye on number 8 and what he might end up doing against you. The tempo. They want to go fast. No huddle, no mercy. It's a fun phrase to say, but it's absolutely true. With this offense, it gets teams off balance. It's hard to align with when you're snapping the ball so quickly. That's what Jeff Lebby and this offense ideally would like to do consistently. And also the spacing. We talk about the spacing with this team a lot. They want to make you cover every single blade of grass when it comes to width of the 53.3 yards of a football field, as wide as it goes. All right? So they want to make sure that you have to stretch all your resources on the back end as far as they can, and we'll run the ball if you don't have the right look. And if you're on an island and we like our matchup, we'll go ahead and just throw a touchdown to them. It'll be awesome. We'll strike up the band. Dillon Gabriel's going to just launch another missile, and that'll be great for us. So that's kind of how they get down. But I think the thing that gets overlooked the most is the intermediate pass game of Oklahoma. They do a really good job of taking what the defense gives them and ramping up to those deep shots. Dillon Gabriel yesterday, 66% completion percentage. It gets him in a rhythm. It gets the wide receivers in a rhythm. Also, it forces the defense to have to honor that. I'm not covering that 5-yard hitch if you're just going deep every single time. I'm bailing out if you're going deep every single time. Well, when you throw that hitch, when you throw that comeback, when you throw that curl a couple of times, well, then those DBs start to kind of get a little bit aggressive, start breaking on things, start getting flat-footed at times. Then you hit the deep shot, and that's what Dillon Gabriel and this team did multiple times. Now, defensively, hiring Brent Venables was obviously a play with the defense in mind. I mean, he's a defensive guru. Got good news and bad news. We'll start with the bad news because we like to finish with good news on this show, kind of how we get down. The bad news is you're still seeing some breakdowns, still seeing some things that lead to big plays. Didn't destroy you yesterday against Iowa State. It wasn't the backbreaker, But when you play teams that are a little bit more potent offensively, that are a little more dialed in with Quinn Ewers and all those weapons that they have at Texas, like that's going to eventually catch up to you. So we got to kind of tighten up here. It doesn't, again, I understand one game does not correlate to the next game necessarily, but we have to understand that can't be consistent for us. The reason why we have those breakdowns is we're aggressive. And if I'm Brent Venables, I love that we're aggressive. Now, the good news is we're starting to see this defense take strides and have benefits from being aggressive in year 2 now under Brent Venables with the personnel they have right now. Team speed, I think it's improved from a season ago, can cover more ground, eat up more angles, be able to arrive with bad intentions more quickly. Like that's kind of how they operate at Oklahoma. And it paid dividends yesterday. 2 interceptions, 9 tackles for a loss. Anytime you have that stat line, you got to feel pretty good about your chances to win the football game. Definitely doesn't hurt anything. So that's kind of where they sit right now. It's kind of what you take away from the game against Iowa State. But again, we understand this isn't about Iowa State for Oklahoma. It's about checking the box, moving on, doing what they got to do in Big 12 play. When we talk about things being quiet around Oklahoma and people not talking about Oklahoma, things will get pretty loud if they handle business in Red River and if they make a statement and they knock off a Texas team with college football playoff aspirations. At that point in time, there will be no best kept secret. There will be no keeping things quiet. At that point, like everybody will be on notice about Oklahoma. So it's quiet right now. Spotlight is about to get shined right on the Sooners, which is funny to say as they're one of the premier brands in college football, but there's about to be a more massive spotlight on them in Norman right now. And this week will determine just how much we're talking about them. Because I like the way they operate when it comes to the offensive side of things. And I think the defense, like I said, is starting to take on more of Brent Venables' edge. And I think they have one of the best quarterbacks in the conference. So we're going to pick this game against Texas for Oklahoma on Tuesday on our live show, 11 a.m. Eastern. Get in here in the live chat. We'll pick that game. Want to hear from y'all. Get y'all's pick. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Hey, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.